Hi, I'm Connor, and this is Tuesday Talks. These are my co-hosts,
Hi, I'm Jono.
And I'm Tanner.
and today we'll be talking about overcoming doubt by trusting in God. So, first kind of question today is it's pretty straightforward. Why do we still doubt God?
Yeah, that is a good question. It's a deep question. We probably don't even have enough time to scratch the surface, I'd say, on this question. But why do we still doubt God? I think part of it's just our human nature, right? I mean, we're in a sinful world. We are human, right? Created in God's image and everything. But I mean, it's hard for us to even trust our own selves sometimes, right? Let alone a being that is external of this world, right, that created us, that we have to put our trust into, and has a plan for our lives, and we don't know that, right? There's a lot of these, things that I think add up as to why we don't trust him, right? I mean, we don't even trust each other sometimes, I'd say, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's actually a really interesting point. I don't know the theology basis behind this, but what is the polar opposite of trust? It's doubt, right?
Yeah.
And so if doubt didn't exist, would trust exist? So it's kind of this it kind of needs to be defined as trust is something we're overcoming. We're overcoming doubt. But also just you're right, in certain, just in life, there's so many things that unexpectedly pop up that we're just is that, God, is this your plan? What are you actually doing in my life right now? And that can lead to doubt if you don't put more trust or faith in God. And because of human nature, because of sin, there is a ton of times where it's just things hit me and I'm this is really hard. I don't know how I can keep trusting in this moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, that whole idea, right, which you mentioned about doubt and trust kind of being polar opposites of the spectrum, it kind of goes back to Satan being, the deceiver, because he makes you doubt what God's doing in your life. He puts those obstacles in your path that are hold on, why would God let this happen to me? It's a question everybody's asked at some point in their life. And there's nothing wrong with asking that question because it's a healthy question if you take the time to overcome that doubt and use it to explore your faith and really start to understand how the Lord moves in your life.
Yeah, and trust is so much greater when you overcome doubt. Just when I remember a few moments in life when I'm going to do something crazy and I just don't know what's going on, I'm just going to be I'm going to put this all in God's hand. Because I realized I had doubt and then I was I'm just going to trust God. It was so satisfactory, and it also built my relationship with God even more.
Totally.
It was really
100%.
cool.
Well, and I think, kind of diving into the second question here a little bit of how do you actually overcome that? I mean, Julie mentioned it, I think, in the sermon today perfectly, just time with him, right? I mean, that's how you get to know someone. It's how you get to develop a relationship. If we want that relationship with the Lord, then the best way to do that and the best way to trust in him is spending more time in his word or with him or in worship. And whether, as she mentioned, whether that's 5 minutes or 30 minutes or a whole day, or in Zechariah's example, the years he spent having his mouth sealed shut, right? Just listening, absorbing, and trusting in the Lord. I think that's one great way to overcome it.
Oh, for sure. Side note, that guy was probably so good at charades. He was probably really good at charades.
Yeah, he was a mime just stuck in a box. Yeah. No kidding.
But yes, I 100% agree. Overcoming doubt, it's this kind of silence, and sometimes routine helps with that. If I take 15 minutes of my day just to spend some quiet time with the Lord, that's good. And sometimes that routine can help, and I've actually noticed sometimes that routine can lead me into this comfort zone, which sometimes isn't helpful. But I 100% agree that taking time just to reflect on the Lord and then kind of apply whatever God is telling you in that day practically as you go throughout your day also really helps. This is less about overcoming doubt, but more about building up trust. I think that's a better way to reword it. And once you can reframe it as that, then you're positively building something up rather than pushing something away.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said.
Yeah, absolutely. And that ties back to, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago? I don't quite remember. Mark preached that God is the Lord of the Sabbath.
Yeah.
And that is a very important thing to remember in our, 21st century lives. Back in the time of, Zechariah and John the Baptist, the Sabbath was sacred you didn't mess with the Sabbath.
Yep.
In our culture today, it's just nonstop, go, 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 go. Don't take time to sit with the Lord. Don't take time to just be
Yeah.
silent.
Yeah.
Don't take time to not be productive.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Whether that's at your job or in your home or whatever it is, and kind of all ties together that it's a central piece of who we are and what our relationship with God needs to be built on. So don't neglect that. Even if you can't afford an entire day as a Sabbath, set
Absolutely.
aside intentional time every week that is your Sabbath.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's awesome.
It's very good.
Yeah. Well, I think that about wraps things up. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are live every Sunday on our YouTube channel at 9 and 10:30 a.m. This week specifically, we'll be live on December 23rd at
Not sure, but the times will be shown here. Sorry, Joe.
yeah. Times will be shown there for the Christmas Eve services. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you join us either online or in person for one of our Christmas Eve services. See ya.
Awesome.
Sweet. Take care, guys.